Well, it's Jay again, and I figured it was going to take me probably at least an hour and a half to make it to the top. I wasn't racing. It's not a race. Doesn't matter how long it takes us to get to where we got to go. It's just that we do our best to try to get there. I made it here in 27 minutes, and I'm just amazed. I had a little bit of leg pain, but it felt nothing like it had felt prior to my water fast. It's just amazing. I literally hiked to the peak in 27 minutes, and I'm feeling so good. I am going to do something I haven't done in 25 plus days. I'm going to cross over to the second mountain and see how far I go. See if I make it to the end and back. That's what they refer to as the strenuous part of this mountain trail. But I'm excited. I made it to the top, just under 2,900 feet, and it's just amazing. I can't believe how my legs feel. Yes, I had a little bit of pain, but nothing like I had for the past many months. I want to acknowledge last night, I realized late in the day that it was my 3-year anniversary of hitting rock bottom. Yesterday, October 8th of 2015 was my bottom date, and I started to write a blog at about 4:30 a.m. this morning on it, and then I put it down and decided to put my energy into jumping in on this trail. As Justin Bauer said on Sunday, we just got to know when it's time to just jump in. And so I put that down and decided, you know what, I'm going to give it my best this morning. I'm going to jump in, see how my body does, how my body responds after having spent real bit less than a week at the gym preparing in training for this moment in time. And it's just so appropriate that I'm at my 3-year anniversary, and what I wanted to share a little bit about that is, thank God I hit my rock bottom. When I hear people talk about rock bottom, like, my mind goes to, like, how low could have it gone for that individual, and kind of go to sadness and all that. But I tell you what, I am so grateful that I hit my rock bottom, because my rock bottom was the opportunity to really surrender all that I needed to surrender in order to come back as a whole new person. And through hitting the rock bottom, I had to face some significant challenges on what I refer to as my 4 pillars: my emotional, my mental, my physical, and my spiritual. Because I was bankrupt in all 4. I had nothing left. And my next stop was death. I was right there at death's doorfront, was right there facing me. And I laid in a hospital for a week. I had work done on my heart region, and I had a lot of work done in my lower torso, my legs. And I had a lot of opportunity to just lay there in a lot of pain for a week with catheters and tubes, and even with the pain pills, I felt a lot of pain. But when I made the decision, my awakening took place in a hospital bed, that I had to be willing to surrender in totality. I had to be willing to unlearn everything that I knew, which wasn't serving me anymore. And I had to be willing to have the courage to change every aspect of my life. That meant relationships, walking away from long-term relationships that had caused a lot of, let's say, just a lot of damage for myself and for others, friendships, marriages, relationships with family members. I had to change everything. I had to change how I ate. I had to be willing to give up a lot of what we refer to as the self-soothing tools that I had mastered so well. But that became the beginning of my healing journey, and it has been relentless. I have been relentless in my focus to heal my mind, body, and soul. And when I started this journey, I didn't know how to smile. I had no smiles left. I had no laughter left. I was just depleted on all 4 cylinders. And this morning, as I'm here live at the top of Pinnacle Peak, I could see what I look like right here, right now, and I can't get the smile off my face. And it's because it's just a smile of just pure, authentic gratitude and humility for what I've accomplished, And last night I also posted something very late, and I said, it's not about me. It's not about me anymore. And that's what I started the blog on this morning. Is when I started on this journey, and Mary came into my life, what I refer to as my divine angel. She was just still there for me, basically helping me rebuild myself and find myself. And so many times I just say, please don't, just take a break already. And she was like, oh no, but it's all about you. And then we'd have that joke, is no, but it's not. And she goes, no, but it really is. And it was. But through that process of finding myself and allowing myself to go through the healing process of my mind, my body, and my soul, I began to understand that this is way bigger than me. But I didn't know how big it could be until I was willing to put myself out there. And it's been about 16 months, a year ago July, that I woke up one day and I had another one of my awakenings. And that awakening was I needed to start to share my story, start to share my healing journey in a very, very public way, so that I no longer have secrets in my life, no longer have lies, no longer live in non-disclosure, but just be the most authentic, vulnerable being that I'm capable of being today, coming from a space of humility and kindness and just pure love. And so began my willingness to put myself out there on social media and share my journey, starting with blogging and my writing, and eventually leading to doing Facebook lives, and then leading to a show called Real Man, Real Talk, Raw, which has basically been on a Spirituality Gone Wild channel. And so it still was about me until yesterday, when I realized, I had this moment, this awakening, when I realized that, oh, this is no longer about me. In the last 25 days, when I put myself out there in a very controversial decision, conscious decision that I made, which was to take my health back in totality, being willing to risk my life one more time, but in a healthy way, to go on a long-term fast and share this part of my journey with the community that I have established and welcomed into my community. Thousands of people that have been with me and supported me and stayed with me. But as I started my water fast and sharing this part of my journey, a number of people, probably close to a dozen people, have either jumped in, considered jumping in, or on their way to healing, commitment to healing their own selves, taking back their lives from the primary care physicians or from the pharmaceuticals that have riddled their bodies with more toxicity and more pain. And so as I have gone through this process, I have had, like I said, close to a dozen people reach out, and they're sharing their stories, some very publicly now with me and with other people through their own social media page. And for those of you that are here live with me right now, welcome. For those of you that are going to catch this on replay, thank you for being here, and thank you so much for my journey. But it's no longer just about me. This is so much bigger than my story. This is about our story. This is about all of us, those of us that are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. Those of us that ran out of hope, that just accepted the fact that we were given a life sentence by Western medicine, that we were told that this is who we are, that we have an autoimmune, or that we have a disease, or that we have diabetes, or that we have cancer. And understanding that we don't have to accept that. We can we can decide to at least explore that there are other options. There are other alternatives to just one way of slicing and dicing and figuring out how to get well. And healing, true healing. So that's what this is about today. This is no longer about me. This is no longer about Jay Rothman. This is about how I just share my experience, my strength, and my hope with all those of you that are in my community, that have an interest, that are interested to figure out what they have to do, what you want to do to heal your own self, and to be willing to just consider that perhaps it too can make a difference in your own life. And so I'm going to just share some tidbits with you. I don't have all my test results yet because I haven't gone for blood work. I'm allowing my body to continue the back end of this long-term fast that I did. But I can tell you this, that some noticeable changes is my brain fog is gone. My brain is alive. My brain has been put on just what I call like an electrocuted, it's like a new energy that's flowing through that I didn't have, that I have today. And it's been over 36 months since my brain was back. It took me just a week of a water fast for me to have a noticeable shift in my brain energy and focus and clarity. And I basically built and launched an online store called Choose Apparel in that time. I never had done graphic design work before. I learned how to use Photoshop and create our own design graphics, and then how to build a website and how to integrate it with all the formats that I needed to do that with. And there's brain clarity I didn't have, and I didn't realize how bad my brain fog was until I was on the backside of it and I woke up. And it's just been beautiful. My ability to heal from scrapes and abrasions that used to take 2 months to heal, I was able to heal that in a week. A torn tendon or ripped tendon in my bicep that I, for 6 months, nursed and tried acupuncture and all other types of healing modalities, including essential oils and other massages that really had not worked for me. About 95 to 98% healed on that tendon. What else? Mary, who decided to join me on her own protocol for fasting, she went to a full juice fasting. At this point, it appears as though her menopause symptoms are gone. She spent a year trying all different modalities and techniques to rid herself of those night symptoms that were just taking her out every night. She has had no menopause symptoms since she started the fast, and now that she's a week out of it, she's good. And the second thing is she had stomach ailments, leaky gut, and all kinds of food allergies for over 30 years. And she has been introducing all kinds of foods that she had allergies to that she couldn't eat. And when she'd eat them, she would get a bloated stomach, and she would end up with sometimes some significant stomach pain, debilitating pain. And she's been introducing foods like nuts and soy. She's had tempeh last night. We had tempeh tacos, and that's like a higher level health of above tofu, made out of soy. She couldn't eat soy without having reactions, and she got through it. She was good last night. These are the miracles. These are the gifts of getting educated and understanding that a body has the ability to heal itself. That's how God built us. That's how we were intended. Our body was not intended to be flushed with chemicals and poison that we call medicine. Our body has the natural ability to heal. We just have to put our faith and trust in ourselves and in what's called the natural laws of God, rather than to the unnatural laws of Western medicine and doctors. This is just my perspective on it. You don't have to agree with me. If you're a nurse or you're a doctor and you're online, God bless you. You guys serve a great purpose. I believe your great service of purpose is in what I'll call acute care, emergency care, but long-term care, as far as helping people cure or heal disease, it's not there yet. Western medicine is just not there yet. That's been my experience, because they had no cure for me. They had no answers. They just had more surgeries, and they also had a lot more pharmaceuticals. Well, here's my truth today. I'm down to one pharmaceutical. That's it, just one. Well, 36 months ago, I believe I was on 8 or 9. When I started this fast, I was down to 2. And on day one, I eliminated one out. And that was my blood pressure pill that I was on for 9 years. From the day I had the heart attack at age 48. And I have had blood pressure in a normal range during the fast. And now today is a week since I came off my water fast. And I've transitioned from water fast to juicing to whole foods. And I am back. It had been 25 days since I had had coffee. And for someone like me who had coffee for 26 years since I had lived in Seattle, coffee was a big part of my life. I stayed off of it through the fast, and in the last week I made a conscious decision to see how my body adjusted to whole food, to see how I did with my blood pressure. And a solid weekend, I've had healthy, solid, normal range blood pressure. So I made the conscious decision after a couple of days of conversation to introduce coffee back into my nutrition protocol. So as of this morning, I had my cup of coffee, and we'll see. I will monitor my blood pressure and see how I do. And I'm hopeful that my blood pressure remains in the normal range. If I see it spikes up, then I will probably make the decision to opt out and not drink coffee and take it out of my daily nutrition. And if that's what it takes to stay clean and pure and healthy without pharmaceuticals, then I'm fine with that. I'll be fine with that. So I'm just going to turn that one over to my higher power, and whatever is going to be in that regard. But in any event, that's what I got. This is no longer about me. This is about us. It's about us. This is way bigger than me. This is about all of us in our healing community that are willing to do whatever it takes to make those compromises of self-care and self-love, so that we can heal our full being, our mind, body, and soul. Again, thanks for coming in, wherever it is you're coming in from. If you're coming in from the United States, welcome. If you're coming in from overseas, I love you guys. I get so many calls, so many video chat calls these days from overseas, so many young people, specifically from India, which has been just an absolute beautiful gift. So many young men in their early 20s they're just excited for life, and they just want to be motivational speakers, and they reach out to me and they say, tell me, teach me, what do I got to do to become a motivational speaker? What do I got to do to inspire other people? And that's just like another gift that I get out of putting myself out there and sharing my healing journey. Is I get to share when people ask me, what do I need to do to move forward in my own life? And all I get to do is just share my experience, to share what I've been willing to do to learn how to be the best version of me. And so as I scan the mountain ranges in front of me and behind me, 360 degrees, I am going to jump off this beautiful peak. I'm going to cross over to the second mountain range and see how far I get. I'm feeling really good right now. I got to take my glasses off so I could read some. John Fiore, they want a piece of you, brother. John, you have been steadfast in my recovery and my healing process over the past many months. Vimal Kumar, thank you for joining in this morning. Darcy, thanks for being here. Karen Coleman, welcome. Adele Jacobs from South Africa. I love you, Adele. You have been with me since the day we met. Day in and day out, you show up no matter what time of day or night. You've come on board and watched my live broadcast in the studio in the middle of the night coming in from South Africa. Julie Bader, thank you for joining me this morning. Jeremy Melton. Jeremy, thank you for being here. Karen Coleman again. Take a chill pill pause. Yeah, that's what I do when I'm up here. And I share from my heart. I share from whatever comes in from intuition and wisdom. Bobby, thanks for being here. Avis, Baba, thank you for being here. McGee Dito, Ben David, welcome to my Facebook Live this morning. All of you, Samantha, thanks for being here. The God in is watching. Yes, Tina Godin says, is watching. Mary Marino, bravo. Bravo to you. Bravo, Karen. Have gotten totally off medication for schizophrenia. Karen, I'd love to hear how you did that. I think the community would love to hear how you have been able to tackle mental health. I was on mental health pills for 21 years. 21 years I was on psych meds for a generalized anxiety disorder. That was part of my medical pharmaceutical protocol. For 21 years, I was on 2 pharmaceuticals for anxiety. And when I started my healing process, I was in it for 3 months, 3 years ago. And the question came to me was, is it possible you don't need those drugs anymore? Is it possible that you don't really suffer with anxiety? Because I had started to learn how to reach for healthy tools for anxiety and put down my unhealthy addictions that I had always reached for self-soothing. And I contemplated that question long enough to be willing to at least give it a try. And I weaned myself off of my pharmaceuticals with the help of my psychiatrist at that time. And within a month and a half, I was off my psych meds, 2 of them, for anxiety. And you know what? I've had anxiety, what I say, breakthrough anxiety, maybe 6 times over the last 36 months. And when I get it, I could put it out there. I could say, you know, I'm feeling some anxiety right now. And just by having the awareness, it removes a lot of the power of it. And then I can figure out which tool I want to reach for that helps me get through that moment of anxiety. Just by being able to identify what it is I'm feeling anxious about, and either being able to share it with somebody else that understands me, that I can trust, helps me navigate through it. And sometimes it means I start my day over. Sometimes it means if it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll just go and drop what I'm doing and go back to doing some self-care and help get me out of that. And that self-care can include doing another walk, a bike ride, putting on some healthy music, maybe going to prayer or meditation. Maybe it means calling up a friend and just having a conversation. Maybe it means taking a rest and laying down and just seeing if I could take a nap. And sometimes it means just accepting for that day that I am right where I'm at, and that I'm going to allow myself to feel what it is that's behind the anxiety with a commitment to myself, that I'm going to allow myself to just stay in this feeling for today, but with a commitment that when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to get back to doing what I need to do for myself, which is self-care, which is taking care of myself and starting my day out with that attitude of gratitude and just staying focused on taking care of myself and knowing that I'm not going to carry those feelings of anxiety into the next day, no matter what. And that's how it works for me today. I don't need drugs anymore for mental health. I no longer have those mental health issues. I'm just a human being that sometimes gets anxious because things happen in life. Things happen that I have no control over. Things happen that I don't anticipate. But this is what I know. As long as I take care of myself and I have my daily rituals and practices to start my day off with healthy balance, I could pretty much navigate through no matter what I have to face, no matter what unfolds in any given day. And through that moment, I pretty much can tackle it. And believe me, I, like everybody else, I get faced with all kinds of challenges. You know, I've got people, places, and things. I've got financial challenges. You know, a lot of you don't know that. Last year, I had to make a decision. What do I do with finances? My finances were tanked. I had, you know, my medical bills were well over $1 million. Now, of course, I wasn't responsible, but do the simple math with co-pays and my commitments there. I had significant medical bills. And then, of course, with brain fog and extreme fatigue from having been anesthesia more than once, more than twice, more than 3 times, more than 4 times, it took its toll on my body. I had extreme fatigue for 1.5 years, and then I had it a second time for 7 or 8 months, and I had brain fog for 3 years. And so instead of being a workaholic working 10 to 15-hour days, I couldn't push 2 hours a day. And so financially, it took its toll. I had a lot of ego and pride when it came to my credit report, because that's what we live in this United States of America, is it always came down to what's my credit score. And you know what? When I got sick and I hit my rock bottom, my credit score meant nothing to me. It didn't matter. And when I realized that my financial wreckage was just so devastating that there was no way that I thought I'd ever be able to come back from that and what my obligations were, I had to make a decision, you know. What do I do? You know, do I just let ego and pride get in the way and contemplate taking myself out, you know, easing the pain of financial wreckage and killing myself, literally? What do I do? Take a different action. Do I do something that I believe I have to do to to take care of myself. And I did my homework, I did my research, and I made the conscious decision that there was no way I'd be able to get that debt paid off in this lifetime without it affecting me in a negative way. So I filed for bankruptcy. And that's a whole nother topic for another day. You know, the financial wreckage of getting sick. And it happens to so many people that get diagnosed with chronic diseases like cancer and autoimmune and all other kinds of diseases. But you know what? I'm smiling about it today because I walked through that with dignity and grace. And by the grace of God, I got through it. You know, it wasn't easy, but I got through it one day at a time. And when the government decided to file a lawsuit against me and against my ex-wife today to try to collect some monies, and so it took that bankruptcy from, it should have been a slam dunk. It took it out 1.5 years. But when it was all said and done, I won that. The case got dismissed because the judge basically wrote a new, schooled the council as far as how they were going after me with no good cause. And so they wanted to settle, and I stood firm because I believe that I was being attacked with undue cause. And they ended up folding and agreeing to dismiss the charges against my ex-wife. And so the case got dismissed, and here I am, you know, today. I'm picking up the pieces, and you know, it's not easy. It's not been easy financially, but that hasn't gotten in my way, and I just continue to heal. I don't talk about it. I don't keep the focus on that because I turn that over to God. I know that no matter what, even when there are months now where there are weeks where I don't know if I'm going to have money to buy food this week. It came down to that because of the circumstances in my life. But you know what? I am smiling right now because at the end of the day, somehow, at 11:59 p.m., somehow it shows up. Somehow my bills get paid. And I show up the next day for myself, and I just keep my focus on my self-care. And as long as I do that, I know everything's going to be okay. And so, yeah, that was my rock bottom. But you know what? If I hadn't gotten to my rock bottom, I would have been right where I was at. And most likely I wouldn't be here today at the top of Pinnacle Peak, 2,900 feet above sea level. I would have been dead, D-E-A-D. Instead, I've got a life beyond my wildest dreams. I live it, I love it, I laugh in it, and I'm learning in it. And my God, you know, if you're in pain, you don't have to live this way anymore. It's a choice. It's a choice to stay paralyzed, or it's a choice to rip off that blanket and say, just maybe, if this guy can do it, this guy right here that had multiple addictions, I'll list them for you in case you're relatively new in this community. I was a workaholic. I was a smokeaholic. I had a food addiction. I had codependency addiction, and I had a sex addiction. There's 5 right there. And maybe I had a 6th one that just slips my mind right now. Not because I have brain fog, because it just slips my mind. Because I don't have brain fog anymore, and I got to end with this. I don't have addictions anymore. I've healed all my addictions because when I faced my darkness of my soul and I came home to myself through this 3-year journey of healing, I lost my addictions. I no longer have those addictive behaviors. I came home to myself. I no longer live in bondage, but I live in freedom. Freedom of my soul. And it feels beautiful, and I just love the life that I have today. It's not easy, but it's beautiful, you know, and through the discomfort, I grow, and through the discomfort, I learn, and through the discomfort, I get to share. I get to share all of these experiences with you in my most truthful, honest, vulnerable way. And sometimes I get emotional about it, and it's not because I'm in pain. These emotions of tears and are emotions of just pure joy, pure love. My God, join me on this path of healing. If you are afraid, don't be afraid. If you are scared, don't be scared. If you are concerned or worried, don't be. Haven't you spent enough of your life living that way? Take the first step to your own healing. Just have the courage to change. And with that, have a beautiful day. Make today the best day of your life, because it may be the last day. And I've said this before, and I'll say it right here, right now. If today is the last day of my life, I am good. I am at the top of Pinnacle Peak, and I love how I feel right now. And I know this, it's only going to get better, because I am open to continuing to learn and heal and continue to be enlightened by you. By you, all that are part of my healing journey, that show up, that show me unconditional love, that teach me the lessons that I need to learn, and allow me to heal my mind, my body, and my soul. Friday night, Real Men, Real Talk Raw. I've got Deb coming on. Deb is going to come on and share her story of pain to what I'll call her glory. Today, she's an advocate. She was unfortunately on a date. She came off an online date, and she was sexually assaulted and raped. And she's going to come on and share her story of what her recovery has been like since that day happened. She's going to come on and speak real. She's going to speak raw. She's going to be who she is today. She's going to be authentic. She's going to be real. She's going to be vulnerable. And she's got the courage. She reached out to me and said, I want to be on your show. And I want to share my story of healing, what that's been like for me. And I am so excited that she's willing to come on and just speak her truth. And so with that, Friday night, 6 p.m. West Coast time, Deb's going to be on. She's going to share her story of triumph, of coming through the darkest nights of her life, and how she's navigating through this moment in time. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. I love you. Thanks for joining me. And we'll catch you on the backside. Take care. Bye-bye.